Hello, everybody. So today I have a recipe for you that I have been using for quite some time, and I really love this recipe. It's quite healthy and it's delicious, and it's a good fusion of Western cuisine, being a hamburger, and one of my favorite cuisines, Indian food. So the spices that I've included in this recipe are mostly originating from India, and it just makes a really nice, unique, spicy blend, which I find really delicious. The other thing that's really good about this recipe is that it's quite high in fiber. It's also really loaded with nutrients, and it's high in potassium, folate, protein, and vitamin B6. It's also lower in fat and cholesterol, but since it's so high in vitamins and nutrients, it's really something that's good to substitute for your regular burger. I know everyone usually enjoys a good burger, or most people enjoy a good burger, but this one you can enjoy guilt-free, which is really nice. Some of the spices that are included in this recipe are also very beneficial for your health. A lot of them are high in antioxidants, like the turmeric that we put in there. We also have some mixed in vegetables, but I'll talk about that in just a moment or two. So the main ingredients that I've used in this recipe are salt, pepper, cayenne pepper, turmeric, thyme, sriracha, garlic powder, garam masala, and cumin. Some of the vegetables included are onion, garlic, mushrooms, and then for the actual burger itself, it's just 1 can of black beans, and then you need a bun. You can use some cheese of your choice. I have chosen to use paneer because I had been making palak paneer, another Indian dish, the other night, and this type of cheese is high in protein, and it's a little bit healthier for you than other cheeses. It doesn't have as much sodium, there's much fat, and plus it just spreads on the bread really nice and evenly. And then you can use your choice of condiments. You could use like ketchup, mustard, relish. I used all those. We used our own homemade ketchup, and I used Dijon mustard. Another thing that I forgot to mention that also I used to cook with is mustard seeds, which are also very healthy for you, and they really enhance the flavor of a dish. For cooking oil, I actually didn't use any oil. Instead, I used ghee. Ghee is basically clarified butter, so it has a higher burning point rather than if you're cooking with, say, canola oil or olive oil. If you're cooking with olive oil and it reaches a high temperature, it actually burns very quickly. So that means that it becomes carcinogenic. So it can actually cause cancer. So I typically cook with oils or butters like ghee that have a high burning rate. So they actually can be cooked without becoming carcinogenic. So let's get into this here. To begin, I'll just show you what the burger looks like. So there it is. And then here is a picture of the spices I used. I used a little bit too much this time, so I used about half in the actual recipe of that. So one of the things you need is a big clove of garlic. I'm going to use about half. And here I am just chopping it up and peeling the garlic, crushing it. And then I'm going to just chop it up into really fine pieces so that it fits into the burger really well. So once all that's chopped up and fine, I use half of a large onion, and I do the same thing. I just chop it up really fine, make sure that it's nice and easy. Everything is chopped up really nice. And I'm still chopping. Now from here, I'm using 1 spoonful of ghee. You can use oil or butter, anything of your choice. But as I said, I chose ghee. And I just let that melt and then coat the pan. And then, so you can see, here's the picture of the ghee that I used. Just spreading around. And then here I'm adding in some mustard seeds. So this just enhances the flavor. And I used about 1/2 a tablespoon. And you want to just let those heat up until they kind of start popping a little bit. So you can stir them around. For the purposes of this video, I shortened things just because I didn't want you guys to have to wait so long. After that, I toss in my onions, and I'm just going to let them cook until they're translucent. So just getting all of the onions out of the bowl and then mixing them around, trying to make sure they don't burn. If you find that they do get really sticky, I just added a little bit of water to let them kind of saute a bit. So yeah, you just wait until those are nice and translucent. And then from here, just give them another stir, mix them around. And we're about to get into the next part. They start to smell really fragrant here too. And this is the part where you then add in your chopped garlic. So you just put that in with the onions and with the mustard seeds, and again, mix them around. You just wait a couple minutes until everything kind of becomes fragrant. And I did forget to show you, but I had chopped up some mushrooms as well. I'd say about 1 whole mushroom, maybe 2 of the large portobello. Chopped it up again, just nice and small. And here I am just mixing it up, making sure that everything gets cooked thorough. You can, as I said, you can add some water if you find things are getting a little bit dry. Now for the beans, I split the can in half, and I actually mushed the first half of the beans that went in the bowl. So I squished them down, and what this does is that it's making the base for the burger. By keeping the second half fully intact, it just gives that like more meaty taste. It keeps things nice and full feeling, so it actually kind of gives the texture of actual meat. So in this case, I mix them around. Just making sure that everything gets spread out evenly, that the mashed beans are mixed with the full beans. It's just kind of a neat taste or texture to have the full beans sticking out. So here I am just mixing. And for the spices, you can use really whatever amounts you want. I tend to like things quite spicy, so I did put down about 1 tablespoon of each of the spices, but I realized that for the portion that I was making, that was a bit much. So as you can see here in a minute, I pretty much halved that. I'm sorry, this isn't exactly graceful as I'm pouring the spices in, and I can't give you a better measurement, but really it's up to you. You can customize it to whatever you like. So if you like something more spicy, add more spice. If you want one particular kind over another, that's fine too. This is like, I don't really like to measure too much stuff. I tend to just eyeball it and go with what I know I like. So with spices, it's easy. You just add it, do a little taste test. If it needs more, you add a little bit more. No biggie. There's the turmeric going in with some salt, the thyme, some black pepper in there, the garam masala, cumin, onion powder, garlic powder. All that's kind of just getting mixed in right now. And once it's all in the bowl, I'm going to just start mixing it up here, just making sure that it gets thoroughly into all of the faux meat mixture, so into all the black beans. So mixing that around just nicely. And then from here, once that's all finished, we're going to end up adding the vegetables now that they've cooled down a little bit. So that's what we were just frying. So here I am mixing them in, making sure they get all throughout the beans. And then we add in some breadcrumbs. I just used panko here. It was easy to find. They taste good. So I used initially about 3/4 of a cup, and I found that I needed a little bit more. So again, it's up to you. You eyeball them. Then you just make sure that the beans can stick together into a ball form. So you shape them with the hands, and I just put them on top of the cutting board, and then put down parchment paper so that it was easy to get them on and off. And then you just shape the burgers and maybe add a little bit more of the breadcrumbs on. And then I found that I heated it on about low to medium on top of the stove with just a little bit of ghee again. And then from here, you just kind of wait until everything gets hot and it's cooked, and then you flip them over, just making sure that the tops are a little bit crunchy as well, if that's your preference. So I just cooked up about 4 burgers because that's what this recipe basically yields. For my condiments, I decided to use lettuce. I had caramelized some onions and mushrooms before and just toasted up a bun. So from this point here, you'll see that I'm just adding a little bit of mayo onto the bun. Again, the condiments are all your preferences, so what you like. I like to keep this recipe easy. It's a healthy recipe, and you can kind of do what you want with it. I mean, it's up to you. You can make it what you want it to be. So on goes the mayo. And then the next thing that I like to do is, as you can see here, I'm kind of debating about what I'm going to do next, which one's going to go on first. So I think ultimately I opted to go with the Dijon mustard. So after a little bit of deliberation, yep, I'm going for the knife. There's the Dijon mustard, and it's going on the top of the bun. Makes a really nice taste in combination with the beans. It's something, it's always kind of one of my go-tos, but again, not required, not necessary, nothing is. I like to keep it just open and fun. On goes the mustard. Wow, I'm really getting it in there. I like my mustard, apparently. Okay, so now that I've finished that, I think the next thing I go for is the the paneer. So you can add whatever kind of cheese you want or no cheese. As I said, this is something that I like because I used it in a previous recipe, and also it's just really healthy for you. It's again just another boost of protein, and it's also low in fat, and low in sodium. So it's a much better option than other cheeses, but you do you. So I've mixed that on there, just like flattening it out so it's a little bit easier for the bun to close once I finally get everything on there. And then here I think I'm about to go for the burger. So I'm just going to place the burger on top of the bottom bun. And you can see that the burger looks pretty much like meat. There's not much of a difference in texture or in looks. On go the caramelized onions. And then the mushrooms. Oh, psych, going for the tomato first. So tomato goes on, just put that on top, close it down, and then go my mushrooms. And then after that, I'm going for just some lettuce. So I'm trying to put that on nicely. It's a little bit hard because I think I made the leaves a little bit too big. So, and this was grown in the garden, so it's not, it wasn't something that you had to purchase. And some homemade ketchup to go in there. I like my condiments. I like my burgers fully loaded. So just spreading that around now. And just adding on a little bit of relish. And we're almost done here. I'm just getting the plate so I can plate it up. And then there it is. There you have it. There's my spicy black bean Indian-inspired curry burger. It's delicious. It's nutritious. I have them regularly. They make a great lunch. They make a great dinner. Sometimes I've even been known to have them for breakfast. So I hope that you enjoyed this recipe. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to let me know. As always, I'm available, so just check out the blog, keep looking back for more recipes, and stay healthy and active with me. I've got some yoga classes, so feel free to check them out. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good day, guys.